The original pink tile.
Mhm.
Love that, but that's still there.
It had like the old stove still.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was, I wonder if that was like the original family that was there forever.
Yeah,
And
what
that-
happened was the lady, from what my neighbor tells me, because she's one of the older ones still there.
Mhm.
The man next door to us, it was two houses on a lot, but they combined them. And then the family, the original family that owned it, they only had a son and a daughter. So then the son kept the house
Yeah.
right next to us. They gave our house to the daughter. She passed without any kids and she left it to like a friend's daughter
Okay.
from Arizona. And then that lady tried to like fix it up. She just did like the flooring and painted it. And then she put it on sale.
Okay.
But then it was on the market for like 3 months because no one wanted to take it on as it like needs a new roof and a bunch of like stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how we got it.
Okay.
But it was like mostly everything's the same.
Oh, wow.
Like the windows are from like the 20s. Like I swatted a fly and the whole thing shattered.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that house, my whole parents, that house looked exactly the same. And there's like these old people and they've been there
Mhm.
probably since the twenties, then their generation, and their generation, it just, nothing changed. Ever.
Yeah, because our neighbors in front, they recently moved in last year because the people passed away. And the house had like green carpet, like old wallpaper, like it was still the same.
Oh, man. Interesting. That is.
Hello. In terms of home ownership.
Yeah, hey, but did you see what happened to some of the houses here? Hey, Jeff.
Then a couple of minutes later, I get Jason back on the way in. Oh my God, I really like the music.
See him in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. One fond that I have with him is him approving my community improvement grant.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
well, that's good.
yeah. That's a good contact. Well, yeah. And you want.
Good out. Thank you, Jack. Are we expecting anybody else?
I believe this is our group.
Okay. A meeting to order.
Good.
Meeting of the Art Public Special Meeting, the Art Public Places Committee is called to order. Yeah, would you call the roll, please?
Absolutely. Chair Nathanson,
Present.
Vice Chair Keating,
Present.
Committee Member Fuentes,
Present.
Committee Member Faulkner, and Committee Member Trejo Vasquez.
Present.
Let the record reflect that all committee members are present, with the exception of Committee Member Hesitant.
They review participation in scheduled items. Temporary art walk. There it is.
Okay, thank you, Chair Nathanson. Today I am very excited to present to you the temporary art walk. I will go through. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Jack. I'll start with a little bit of a program overview. So on August 5th last year, I brought forward to you the possibility of doing the art walk. And we created that expenditure plan and approved $75,000 for a temporary art walk. On November 4th, we put together the project plan and that was approved through the committee. We opened up a call for art from March 13th through April 30th. And we had a jury meeting this May. The jury consisted of 7 panel members, which represented downtown, the DAO. Railroad Square, Santa Rosa Plaza, 2 members of APPC, the city of Santa Rosa, and 1 member from the art community. The call for art that we opened was open to US-based artists that were 18 or older. It could have been a single artist or an artist team. Submissions were only allowed of completed artwork, so no yet to be completed artworks or proposals for that. Up to 10 artists were to be selected with 3 alternates. Each artist is to receive a $5,000 stipend, $3,000 on install and $2,000 on de-install, which the show will be up for approximately 2 years. The artwork will be mounted to concrete pads if it's sculptural based, and we can pour those in-house. Other mounting was accepted with their approval, depending on the durability, feasibility, the maintenance, etc. We had 102 applications received through the call for entry platform. And we had 7 applications received through email with some that had difficulties with the platform. And the selection panel completed the first round of virtual jurying in May, and they met in person June 4th, so just last week, for the final selection. One thing we also started to review was the potential locations. So when the jury met, we had the possible locations up on the board as well as we're looking at the artwork, because the last thing, you know, we want is to select a sculpture but have it have no home that feels right. So it is important that while we didn't exactly pair artwork with the exact location, we took note when we met of the possibilities of where these could go and that it would fit within our community. And one of the goals of this art walk as well is the connectivity between Railroad Square and downtown. So we looked at some potential sites there, and all of the artworks that will be placed, whether it's in Railroad Square or Santa Rosa Plaza, will need to be approved through them as well if it's not city property. So that's why it was also very important to have all of these stakeholders on the selection panel. Just to review the program goals that we've discussed here end of last year. Was to foster civic excitement, enhance downtown with art that engages and delights the community with local pride and enthusiasm, to encourage creativity, artworks that are imaginative and innovative, support artistic growth, transform public spaces, turning ordinary spaces into dynamic cultural destinations, and to offer learning experiences. Once this artwork is installed, it will be important that we as a committee reconnect on how to facilitate these educational programs, workshops, and arts talks, etc., about what's now going on downtown. That will be exciting for the arts community and community in general. We came up with a theme of urban renewal, and this is reflecting a vision of renewal and innovation. So some of the goals of this were playfulness and innovation, to embrace creativity and inventiveness. Sustainability, reflect the principles of sustainability by incorporating recycled or eco-friendly materials. Considering community impact and how does this foster community engagement and interaction. And also the durability and maintainability is really important. So when we reviewed these, they had to be designed to withstand the elements throughout the 2-year period. For the applications, the artists were asked to submit 1 artwork per application with 3 views each, and they could have 6 applications maximum. So through Cafe, you submit 1 artwork, but underneath your profile, you can do that 6 times. An image list and description, a statement about urban renewal, the art installation plan, and the artist's resume was not required or recommended. So next, I'll be reviewing with you the 10 recommended artworks by the selection committee, and then I'll also have some alternates as well to review. It's important that we do have alternates, as some of these, we don't know if they're still available. Maybe one property owner may want one or the other, so it's good to have some options that we can pull from. First, we have Wheels Go Round. This is an installation of bicycle wheels, as you can see. This comes in 3 sections. It's 18 feet long and 3 feet wide. You could display it all as one, or you could split it in 3 sections. Wheels Go Round embodies this spirit by transforming underutilized spaces into vibrant, interactive environments. Originally installed in Denver's 16th Street Mall, a corridor struggling with low pedestrian engagement, Wheels Go Round helped turn a lifeless block into a place of connection and delight. This project received the 2016 Mayor's Design Award for Excellence in Placemaking, an acknowledgement of its role in reshaping urban experience through creativity and community engagement. Next.
Who's the artist?
Thanks, Sydney.
So they were blind jury been selected.
No, we have the artist.
Next, we have an entropy of a tree. This is 12 feet tall, but 5 by 5. One of the more frequently missed opportunities for acknowledging urban renewal is that ecological aspect of bettering civic spaces. Through reinvestment in relations humans hold a natural environment around them. The sculptures I create increase awareness for relationships between nature, humans, and technology. And I can pull up the artist's name here if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that because we're voting on these, so it'd be nice to know who made and where they're from.
Are we voting on them?
No, these
These are already
this-
selected.
these were selected, but
Yeah.
we do need approval for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I need to vote to.
Okay.
Just
Is-
want to know what we're voting on.
Is that,
We're gonna
wood?
go to comments and questions
It
after the presentation.
It's wood.
This piece, yes.
Yeah.
And I present them to the panel, this, even though it was not already, through the application, I always feel it's important not to give the name away when we're actually voting the selection panel, which is where these slides came from.
Yeah.
Because we're voting on the art, not the artist. The first one was Kate Davis. And Kate Davis is from Denver, Colorado. Second one is Anthony May. And Anthony May is from Portland, Oregon. This next one is Split Sight. And this is by Chloe Barr, California artist. And I'll tell you basically where it's again. Split Sight is a sculpture designed to make visitors look at everything but the sculpture itself, and inverts a focal point from the sculpture to the visitors and urban space around them. It does it in two ways. First, at a casual glance, it's a normal streetlight designed to surprise visitors walking to a seemingly normal urban light that will give their shadows split into echoes of vibrant colors and repeated shapes. Groups of visitors can overlap their color echoes to make interlocking patterns. In addition, the light provides a kind of face painting from facial features, hair, and hats. Split Sight also works with no visitors in the illuminated space. Architectural details, foliage, and mundane urban equipment are highlighted with color echoes, which some visitors initially believe is a bright paint. Corey's from Woodacre, California. We have Rhythmatic Dance, and this is by Diego Harris, who is from Upper Lake, California. My sculpture, Rhythmatic Dance, is uniquely suited for the theme urban renewal. It is made with the materials practices of old industrial America, but is designed in such a way to evoke the patterns and beauty of the natural world. This is how I see the future of urban landscapes. We need to find ways of incorporating nature back into our cities. I strive to create sculptures that, one way, are very hard-edged and man-made, while at the same time flowing effortlessly into serpentine curves and spirals that one would see as a fern or flowing water or a snake moving through the grass. And this is 9.5 feet tall. And one comment they did have is that this is out of Corten steel, and the selection panel did have me look into if it was going to be more of a shiny metal or a rusted look. It actually will be more of a rusted Corten steel look. And they did want to discuss afterwards if using this one or an alternate because of that change. Next, we have Talesmen, and this is by Pamela Ambrosio from Tucson, Arizona. This is 8 foot tall by 3 by 3. This is a symbol of transformation and a protection, a beacon for change. In creating this piece, I was inspired by the city's commitment to revitalization, to honoring its roots while reaching toward the vibrant future. The shape, colors, and materials I choose reflect both resilience and renewal, echoing the spirit of the community and the journey of urban renewal. Next, we have Alhambra SRO, and this is by Paz de la Calzada, and she is from Bay Area. I'm just trying to look up on. Alhambra SRO connects the domestic and urban realms, offering a compelling narrative within the Santa Rosa Public Art Walk's theme of urban renewal. This site-specific installation uses recycled carpets, not as mere floor coverings, but as a transformative art for urban walls. By repurposing carpet, a material inherently tied to interiors and domestics, and introducing it to exterior setting, the work creates a dialogue between the intimacy of home and the expansive character of urban space. And so just a note on this one, as it is carpet, I am reaching out to the artist on install, the durability, if would have to be underneath some type of overhang, like a parking lot, et cetera. Just again, while we have the alternates, exploring that did not work. Next, we have Urban Fiesta, and this is by Adrian Susanna Littman, and he's from Santa Rosa. And this is a kinetic piece. It is 14 feet tall by 10 by 10. After more than 25 years of creating public artwork, I find the most rewarding professional and personal satisfaction when the art piece brings a peaceful and hopeful energy to the viewer, mind, and soul. As an artist, I find inspiration and fuel for creative expression by contemplating the world around me. My inspiration is enhanced by concepts introduced by contemporary science, social issues, politics, and cultural diversity. I use abstract and figurative interpretations to convey messages and emotions with sensibility, combining control and passion. Next, we have Rosa Monument. Alex Barrett, who is from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I've been designing and installing monuments for 48 years. My abstract sculptures dynamically and imaginatively break free from their form, have inspiring metaphors for the human spirit, while enhancing the surrounding landscape and architecture. My designs come to life in biomorphic form. My works aren't cast, but cut from aluminum, joined, inflated, and welded by hand into playful fluid shapes consisting of solid color, glossy, weatherproof, powder-coated enameled finish that is highly durable and long-lasting. And this is a little over 7.5 feet tall. And then we also have a second one by the artist Alex, and the selection panel's recommendation was to place these together in an area, not exactly side by side, but in the same location. And you have the same about for both. This is again 7.5 feet tall. Praying Fantasy. This is a local artist, Santa Rosa, Lori Bowden. 7 feet tall. Praying Fantasy and renewal. Your fantasies weave through your existence, an integral part of your life. They hunger for your attention, nourish them to spark inspiration, and bring depth into your world. Urban renewal is a revitalization that involves existing spaces to build a reimagined experience. The Praying Fantasy evolved from a few jumbled metal pieces in my yard into a fantastic creature built from salvaged and reimagined objects. Both represent a fresh inspiration and creative outlet. A note also, the eyes light up currently with a remote, and she mentioned that she can do changes to solar as well. So those were the top 10, and now I'm going to go through a few alternates. We actually have 5 alternates that were chosen. There were 2 in here that if not available, the selection panel knew exactly which ones they would want to replace it with. So you'll actually see 5 alternates. First, we have asymmetric fun love seat. Our environment is facing an existential threat. Climate change is an issue of our time and what motivates me to create my artwork. By using the petroleum industry's waste and construction material, my work points to their culpability while symbolizing a rebirth and renewal into a future free from carbon-based fuels. Well, where common objects are designed and manufactured from reused materials. And this is by Colin Selig, and he is from Walnut Creek. We have dewdrops. This one is 8 feet tall by 4 feet by 4 feet. In today's world, when everything ages and weathers, dewdrops takes a timeless view of nature's way, renewal, constant change and growth. Dewdrops is an abstract creation depicting tall stainless grass blades with colorful red dewdrops hanging and sitting among them in the morning light. Chris Wrench from the River, Oregon. And next we have Avian Pilgrimage, and this is by Timo May, who is Lakewood, Colorado. Okay, no, that's fine. So I'm gonna go to this one right here to read it. It is 10 foot long, 8 feet wide, and 13 feet high. The inspiration for Avian Pilgrimage is the connection between cranes and humans resulting from their mutual journeys. The pilgrimage is a journey taken to hallowed ground that challenges its participants and offers them growth. With 7-foot wingspans, viewers are naturally attracted to the stainless steel sandhill cranes gracefully flying atop the spires and are moved by the scale, sense of movement, and serenity they invoke. We have Drip Edge. This is by Craig Snyder. This is 9 feet tall and 2 by 2. The urban environment generally consists of a series of stacked cubes. Each floor is more or less the same as the one below and above. Drip Edge explodes this concept. Sure, it starts out as a perfect cube, but each successful level gets less and less cubic. Each explodes into 6 sides, but not in the traditional sense. By the time we reach the top, it's a whole new thing. And that's how it all starts. Begin with what we have and literally think outside the box to add and enhance the community. The next alternate we have is by the same artist that did Entropy of a Tree. And that artist did submit a few. And so this was the backup one that they wanted if that first one was not available. And then the Tailspin one, that was colorful. I believe it's about 10 feet tall. If that is not available, Aegean Fingers, they would like that one. And this one is 10 feet tall as well. The Dicotley, I'm probably mispronouncing that, were a mythical race of ancient beings who invented the art of metalworking. This sculpture, Aegean Fingers, features painted metal covered in translucent rubber that has been applied by hand, leaving behind the mark of human presence. When ancient Greeks were made their most solemn oaths, they would press their hands against the earth as they spoke. Through intentional variations in bilateral symmetry, I aim to highlight the beauty of individuality within our interconnected existence. Aegean Fingers invites viewers to reflect on their own sense of self and our shared connection to the natural world. All right. So those were the top artists, 15, the 10 chosen and 5 alternates. So today, the recommended action is to approve the 10 selected artists and the 5 alternates for the Santa Rosa Public Art Walk.
Great, thank you very much. Questions or comments from the committee?
I'll go ahead and comment on a few of them if, so the talisman, you were, going to, look into to see if the word letters and stuff meant anything or had any like significant meaning behind them. Okay, just so.
And then that would be reported to the selection committee.
And with a title like talisman, that could suggest that there was symbolic meaning.
Yeah, so that's what we were wondering. We're gonna see.
Yeah, so I need to reach out to the artists.
Good.
And then for like locations, the red and yellow one, you know, when after I was looking at it just for a little longer and looking at the locations and we were thinking about. So there's a suggestion about the mall. And then I was also thinking though, because, you know, putting the mall right in that little area up where there was that area that we were thinking, and then also maybe instead of putting the other one there, maybe put it over somewhere or both square where you could see both, but it kind of connects it together. Since we have that freeway there that divides the city in half, we need anything to connect both sides together. I think could help.
One of the difficulties could be that it's Caltrans property and it's not just directly below, it goes
Yeah.
like that, so. And this was the space, it's a very large sculpture.
Absolutely. Okay.
I like that idea though.
Mhm.
Yeah, as the selection panel, we had been talking about potential locations with specific artworks, and that was part of the discussion, like, oh, would we see a specific artwork going in a specific location? Not that we were just making any decisions, but we were just kind of talking that through and then gauging interest from the panel members who were there representing different entities. It was identified that Santa Rosa Plaza does like the 2 bright sculptures that we were talking about.
Vista Monument and
Cradle.
In Cradle, yes.
Hmm.
So those 2 would be positioned adjacent to each other, but as kind of like a.
Hmm.
That was also an ask if they were both available for us to inquire or bring into this art walk. So it was a really, I enjoyed the conversation. It was really helpful that we had a selection sheet in front of us to like help organize our notes, and that helped gauge on a couple of our criteria, whether the piece was identifying the playfulness and innovation that we're, you know, having as a major theme. Also images of sustainability, you know, what kind of community impact could a piece have in its environment? That was thought about and discussed.
Mhm.
And then also the durability and maintainability, those 4 kind of criteria were in the background for all of our discussions of pieces. So that was really helpful that was organized like that to keep us on track, because it was a lot to review in one day.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I also wanted to add too, I'm sorry, you're not, are you, so.
no, I'm good.
Thank you. The tree, the burnt tree, I thought that the burnt tree would have a lot of meaning, and I think that having that to make sure that it's in a place, not really that we have, you know, celebrations and stuff, but somewhere by itself, that's kind of isolated. And it can be somewhere where someone could actually just, because it does have a lot of meaning. We have a burnt tree, we have, you know, and because of the fires and what everybody here has been through and stuff, I really think it's significant, that it's significant, and it just needs to be in the right context
In
to,
a space that's perhaps more meditative.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
More opportunity for sitting down and reflecting. maybe.
absolutely.
Maybe not. But again, we didn't decide on any locations. That would all be decided upon
Yeah.
after the pieces are selected, after we know which ones we're working with.
Like, I wouldn't think a courthouse square. I
Yeah.
don't think people want to be dancing and hearing stuff and then have that in their face, just, it's a lot. And it'll be a lot for some people to take that in. But I think it's significant and enough, so it's not something that's forgotten too.
And I also enjoyed the conversation that we were having to think about. This is the first time we're doing an art walk of this type, and we would like to do it again in the future, so are there any kind of like thoughts for down the line, in a few years when we might be doing this selection conversation again? What would that look like? And so we were very cognizant of events that are going on in Santa Rosa that might, create opportunities for engagement with these art pieces, and whether that was and how we thought about each location, really, and seeing an opportunity from where people get off at the Smart Station in downtown Santa Rosa and Railroad Square to then the other locations in Courthouse Square and a little beyond, but really thinking about the footprint of this. And actually a couple of other pieces we thought were great pieces for a setting like Juilliard Park, but maybe not for this art walk. And so it gave us a lot of ideas for how to expand our programming as well.
Oh, yeah, and you did, was it you or someone mentioned the urban fiesta, since it was 14 feet high, to be over there in the smart train. So when you, from the smart train, it's so high, you can see it. And when you get off, that is something that it first catches your eye.
Yeah, I think what I was, hoping to do with this, just to like give a quick recap of how we approached the discussion. And that was very much in our minds and in like, our vision of this. Of,
Yeah.
okay, how do we see this enhancing our landscape?
That's great. That's really helpful. For the record, in case other committee members didn't figure this out, Kristen and Lisa were on the selection committee.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
okay.
For the record.
Yeah,
Um,
I should have said something, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just thought I would mention it. Are there any other questions from committee members before we go to a motion and a vote? I believe we have no members of the public, so no public comment. Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the selection committee's recommendations for artworks for the art walk. Do I hear a motion?
I'm so moved.
Okay, Devil Faulkner has moved. Second.
I'll second.
Okay,
that
Kristen
okay?
Kiefer has
Okay.
seconded. It has been moved and seconded to approve the selection committee members' recommendation for artworks for the first ever Santa Rosa Art Walk. Okay, the floor is open for additional discussion, comments, and questions. And I have a question. Pardon me, the artist who has the two bright sculptures, would that artist receive $10,000 because they have two pieces? Okay, and how does that impact the budget?
No, it doesn't. We have the 10 sculptures still, so 2 of the 10 are from the same artist.
Okay. Any concern how other artists might feel if somebody had two pieces selected?
Our selection panel discouraged that,
Hmm.
and did not want, well, and was very conscious to think about other artists who had artwork shown in Santa Rosa before. And so, for example, there were a couple of artists that had been in the Earthbound public display that we had done that submitted pieces. We said that we loved that they were there at that time, but that we wanted to feature different artists through this opportunity. So that was something that was conscious on our mind. I guess the thought with those pieces next to each other was that they would be like a nice kind of juxtaposition.
Right.
But it was not like in my mind, that was
We slightly discussed the idea of doing two from the same artist. Other communities have done that before. Well, it's not highly recommended as you want variety, but if it makes sense for the show, you also,
Right.
you know, that would be okay too.
Yeah, I think, where I go to in terms of the competitive environment for artwork selection, you have 102 artists who okay, so 102 artists or 102 submissions.
102 submissions.
Submissions.
Okay, still, there's going to be at least a few dozen artists who didn't get selected, and so I just have a mild concern that somebody who didn't get selected might perceive that, oh, well, this artist got two pieces, how come? Anyway, I just want to mention it. I don't think it's a major concern, and it's highly unlikely that somebody local would be one of the artists who would then kind of figure it all out, that this artist had two pieces. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention it for discussion purposes. Any other questions or comments?
Just for my reminder, what is the next step in this process? For like what, where do we see I guess this meeting informing the next steps?
I will be emailing the artists tomorrow to see if the artworks are available and confirming that. All of them need to get their insurance and W-9s and contracts started, and that can take some time. In the meantime, I'll start mapping out the potential locations for all of this. I do have to send the mall, railroad square, their potentials, because they'll have to run by their boards and commissions, et cetera, for that. So that can take some time. I envision me bringing this back to the committee in possibly July or August, maybe even July, so we could just sort of discuss the idea of the locations. While the committee doesn't decide the locations, I would want all of your input. And put that map together on what would work and whatnot. So my suggestion is I bring it back in the next couple of weeks, just so we continue this discussion along with the marketing and educational opportunities, et cetera, that will partner with this.
Great. I will mention that I was in attendance at the mayor's luncheon today for board and committee chairs. And the mayor asked for reports from all of the chairs. And so my report included some general information about the art walk that we were anticipating this happening. That I was looking forward to seeing the presentation this afternoon, so I couldn't give them more details, but that I told them that there will be around 10 sculptures from downtown to Railroad Square, and they would be on view for 2 years. And generally, the response was really positive, and that I tried to present the report in the context of arts and culture and its importance to the city and economic development. Most of the discussion was really about the dire straits in which the city finds itself economically. So trying to present something that is publicly visible and hopefully will help encourage visitation and commerce. Meanwhile, I'll be really excited to see this publicized, not only to the city officials, but to the entire community. So what is our proposed timeline for installation? Is this going to launch?
We're hoping for September. Again, the contracts, insurance, and that back and forth can take some time, and the pouring of the concrete paths. So September, October. I did not give myself an opening date. So ideally by the end of the year, and that way we can really launch it next year. Usually the installs take about a month. With 10, doing 2 a week, possibly more than that a week. That is a lot of time. And with city staff doing the concrete paths, I have to look at their timeline. So, but we'll be working on it, and I'll be working a lot on this to get it going by September, October, ideally.
Great. Okay, any other questions or comments? Kristen and Lisa, thank you for serving on the committee. I think I made good selections. So I believe we are ready to vote. Recording secretary, would you read back the motion, please?
Sure.
Or would you like me to?
I mean, the motion was made by Committee Member Falker, seconded by Vice Chair Kiefer to approve the selection panel's selection of, it was the 10 artworks and then the 5 alternates
Right, for the art walk.
for the temporary art walk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job.
Um,
Okay, let's take a vote.
Alrighty, Chair Nathanson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer,
Aye.
Committee Member Fuentes,
Aye.
Committee Member Faulkner,
Aye.
and Committee Member Tracey-Pascal.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion passes unanimously.
Excellent. Okay, good job, guys. Okay, well, if nothing else on the agenda. Yeah, and with that, the meeting is adjourned.
Excellent.
Thank you all.
Can I do that quick? Just,
Yeah, please, announcements.
announcement, can we do that?
Informally, sure.
So the artwork that I helped, prepare for the bike and walk party, we did a community mural, and that is going to be hung in council chambers on July 7th. So in the next month, go check out our piece, and it'll be hanging up for a couple months, so.
Very good.
Yeah, thanks. We're excited. Transportation planner, Tarina Wilson, she is presenting to council on the 8th, and she wanted to make sure that our piece was the backdrop for her presentation. So I'm
Great.
very excited. That's
Oh.
connecting the dots.
That's great. And I'll announce that an exhibition that I'm curating will open up at Paradise Ridge Winery in Sculpture Grove on Sunday, June 15th from 2 to 4 p.m. And we are sending out, I'll be sending out an email announcement, and it's also on social media. And all of the artists seem to be really excited, and there's like Facebook kind of blew up over the weekend about it, which was fun. Anyway, so that's Sunday, from 2 to 4. And if you don't have Father's Day plans otherwise, or if you want to make those your Father's Day plans, we'd love to see you there in Sculpture Grove at the Paradise Ridge. Any other announcements before we already adjourned, so. Oh, yeah. Any other? Great. Okay, thank you all. Good meeting.